Good afternoon. I'm Melvin,
And I'm Larry.
and this is our second video involving current events, and our title is called A Seat at the Table. So we get into a lot of different topics, and we give our points of views, and so forth and so on. So we hope you enjoy it, and we hope you leave some comments and subscribe.
Subscribe. We want those subscribers. We want to get to know you.
Yes, and we would love your interaction and your comments about our topics, and be honest and don't hold back either. Tell us how you feel. All right.
Be somewhat nice. I mean, we
I
don't
didn't.
want to hear
I
I
didn't
hate
say.
you on every.
I didn't say don't be nice.
But you tell. Be honest.
Yeah, I
People
mean,
could be cruel. So I mean,
well,
check this out. Just talk to us like you would talk to your friends.
are you
Don't go
weak?
crazy.
You can handle it,
Oh, I
can't you?
can handle anything.
All
But I
right
don't want
then.
to send something just as mean and evil back.
Oh, okay. I see. All right. So,
Diving into it, I was thinking.
what's our first topic?
Let's talk about the Super Bowl.
Okay, that's a good thing to start off with.
So, what's your thoughts on the Super Bowl?
Well, I will say I was a little surprised that the Tennessee Titans beat Baltimore, because a lot of experts, a lot of the so-called couch experts, were predicting that the Ravens was going to win the Super Bowl. And I was telling my friends that football is unpredictable, especially
At best.
during the playoffs, because teams have an opportunity to prepare and watch scouting reports and so forth. The playoffs is a whole different animal than the regular season, a whole entirely different animal. So,
Keep going.
so upsets are going to happen. If you're putting your money in Vegas,
Yeah. Just slide it over to me.
if you're betting your money in Vegas, you have to be real careful about that. But as far as my predictions, right now, Tennessee is awesome. I mean, that running back from Alabama is amazing.
Killing them.
160 yards plus 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
Unheard of.
I mean, you going back to OJ days. I mean, this guy is just awesome. He running over people, and I love it, and they shocked Baltimore. So right now, I'm going with Tennessee.
See, okay, so this is my thoughts. Yes, Tennessee came out and they did a thing. I think with Baltimore having a young quarterback, so everybody
Yeah.
forget this is still a kid. He came out and he shocked the world. And he's an amazing quarterback with amazing talent, and he's doing his thing. But the problem is that he still has a lot of room to grow.
Well, this will be an excellent learning experience.
And that's
for
what
him.
it was, and that's exactly what it was. It was an amazing learning experience for him, because when he comes back next year,
Oh, he'll be ready. He can take all this experience and bottle it up, and come back next year much stronger.
So and not only that, you got to look at most of they're from the defensive line, the defenses. All these guys have not really been in that position to go deep into the playoffs.
Yeah,
They have
that's
there's a lot of new faces. There's
Yeah.
a lot of little small
Yeah, that's
mechanical
true.
issues.
Experience is
You know,
monumental.
The only person that has really had that experience was the coach.
Yeah,
And he was trying his best, and
and
he's
he
telling
ain't on
them
the field.
exactly. He's telling them what to do and how to do it, but they fell short.
Yeah.
So I think that the Tennessee Titans collected on something, but you got to also remember the Titans just took out the Patriots.
So don't skate on your predictions. Who do you pick to win it all?
I got Kansas City win it all. I ain't even gonna play that game. I got Kansas City to go all the way. I got Kansas City that's unstoppable.
I tell you what, they're playing the Texans today.
Yes,
and,
they are.
and it's going to be trouble, because that quarterback for the Houston is amazing.
He is.
I mean, he's a little unpredictable, but he is amazing. Amazing talent. He reminds me of what's the quarterback that had problems with the dog fighting?
Michael Vick.
Michael Vick. He reminds me a lot of Michael Vick.
He reminds me more of a Herschel Walker, Because Herschel Walker, not only did he have a cannon for it
Herschel
in the
Walker.
wall.
Herschel Walker was a running back.
What's his name that I'm thinking of? Who am I thinking of? Oh. No, played for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. I don't have it in my mind either.
Donovan McNabb.
There you go.
He reminds me of a Donovan McNabb, a young Donovan McNabb, when Donovan McNabb could get out that pocket, take off on you, roll deep, get the. And he had a cannon for an arm. The only problem that what happened to Donovan McNabb was that they wanted him to stay in the pocket more. They wanted him to be a pocket passer, which took away. But Texas, on the other hand, is letting him get out, letting him run.
Oh, yeah. He's doing his thing. That young fella is doing his thing.
And he's a tough competitor, but Mahomes.
Yeah.
Whew.
So you picking Kansas City to win the whole thing?
I'm picking Kansas City to win the whole thing.
And I'm picking Tennessee.
Because one of their biggest blocks.
What we'll have to do is come back after the Super Bowl, and we will remember who picked who.
Okay. But one of the biggest things about it with Patrick Mahomes is that not only because he throws sidewinding passes really well, he throws long distance, he can run, he can do it all. You can't. Yeah. You have to fit your defenses to kind of like how the Ravens was, the Ravens quarterback was. You have to change your whole defense on how you're going to attack him because you don't know how he's going to deal with it. You don't know what he's going to do.
That's true.
So he's very, very, his intangibles is off the charts.
Yeah.
And him having Tyreek Hill as a run, him doing his thing, catching the running back, everybody. I think Kansas City is going to be really, really tough to beat.
So while we're on football, tell me, do you think Tom Brady is coming back?
That's a really good question. That's been something that was a lot of people ask. I think Tom Brady is going to want to come back, but after this year, I think it's a wrap because he'll be 42 next year.
Well, I disagree. I think he's coming back, and what they need to do is to get some receivers. If they get some receivers, I wouldn't be surprised if he's right back in the playoffs again.
The problem with that is,
I didn't say Super Bowl. I said back in the playoffs.
The problem with that, though, is him. I think it's time. He's at the point where it's time for him to go ahead and hang up the cleats.
I mean,
because he's been a staple in the NFL for years.
Yeah, it's difficult for athletes to do that.
It's
very difficult.
The mind might be willing, but the body's not able.
Yeah, I got you.
He got knee issues, shoulder issues,
and he never was a good scrambler out of the pocket.
Well,
so.
I mean, how could you scramble when your knees are destroyed?
Well, that never was his forte, even when he was young.
But then again, you also got to remember, he's always, the one thing that I got to give the Patriots a pat on the back is they always had an insane front line.
Oh yeah, to protect
and their offensive
him.
line and they would risk injury, making sure that nobody really touches.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
But then you look at with Belichick being the coach Belichick is a mastermind.
Yeah,
he could look at how defense is setting up, and he would be like, figured it out.
Yeah,
already has his in mind how he wants the thing to run, and then he'll beat you with it. The thing about it is that they didn't even make it past the first round.
Yeah, I was surprised that they lost in the first round.
To guess who? The Texans. The same ones who were playing the Chiefs.
No. That they didn't lose to the Texans in the first round.
Yes, they did.
No. I forgot who they lost to in the first round, but it wasn't the Texans. That wasn't a playoff game. No, that was like the 15th game of the season or something. But let me see who they lost to in the playoffs.
I'm about to mess with you now because I know.
No. It wasn't the Texans.
Because the Texans. That's how the Texans moved on to the second round. The Texans had because the Patriots lost their they lost that bye week, so they had to go the next week and play.
Oh, they lost to the Bills.
The last game.
Yeah, they lost to the Bills. The last game there.
The playoff game.
Yep.
The Bills.
Yep. Let me make sure.
Let me see. Because I'm sitting back.
Oh, was
it was the Titans. The Titans took them out.
Yeah.
But we both, as you can see, most of this stuff is not researched.
Well, it's okay.
But the Titans, the Titans came in and knocked them off.
2013. Yeah.
To have a team come off and knock such a team that has been known to be
Well, let me
in
tell
the
you,
playoffs.
that's my pick to win it all. Tennessee is
I just can't see them making it much further.
and I think they play old style football. And what I mean by that is they utilize their running back. I mean, back in the day, you get a running back that go for 100 yards a game, you are almost guaranteed to get in the playoffs. So I just think with their style of play, but as they say, we shall see.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it rolling.
Okay, so another subject I always near and dear to my heart that I always like to talk about with brothers is our toxic masculinity, our egos. You know, we black men are known for our egos. We're
What?
known for the the problems that we result from our egos.
So now these topics that we're talking about, we don't rehearse. We both write some down and we just talk about it.
Right.
So I didn't know that black men had such large egos. Where are you getting this from?
I get this from it's basically every day. Just like if you was to bump into somebody and you step on their shoes.
I say, excuse me.
But I'm saying, how would they take it? They're ready to fight.
Yeah.
They're ready to argue. They're ready to go ahead and go there. You have men there where you can have a discussion, or you get to say if you have a minor conflict,
Mm-hmm.
it escalates greatly
Mm-hmm.
because our ego
So
is
you
that
think
we
that's
have to be hard. We have to be
a
tough.
black man issue?
It's mostly within the realm of black men issues because if you step on another person's shoe, say if you stepped on a white guy's shoe, 9 times out of 10 he's gonna be like, oh, and you both be like, oh, I'm very sorry.
Right.
A lot of brothers are moving away from this, but this is still something that's prevalent. This is an issue where we have issues with the way we.
So
treat.
why do you think that is? Do they have to show they're
Because,
tough? Or?
Exactly.
Oh,
Because the situation what you're dealing with is you have us as men. We're taught, don't cry. You're a boy. Be tough.
Right.
You're a man. Be strong. Da 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 da. And you get this drilled into you.
That's true.
Where you look at a lot of different other. This is one of the things that's not pushed in other races because they allow their kids to.
Let me comment on it. I just think you need to act sensible. If you step on somebody's shoe or if you bump into somebody mistakenly, say excuse me, I apologize, and you should move on.
But that's
now the person that does it, they have to offer the apology first. So if I bump into you by mistake, I need to say I'm sorry.
Right.
I need to say excuse me. I'm sorry.
But this only breaks down to just that. I'm talking about where when you go certain places, there's fellas that sit there and mean mug. They look at you. And you look at them, and that's why now I used to look mean back, but now I look at them.
There you go. That's what you should do.
But the thing about it is just that our ego is so toxic. Our ego is where it starts shootouts. Our ego is where you have people who are trying to have a good time, and what happens is cats come in with their ego and they're feeling, I'm a thug, I'm a tough guy. It tears up, stops parties, everything.
I think a lot of things come into play with that. I mean, they could have too much alcohol in them. That's probably more or less the case, especially if you're talking about a club or some type of a dance hall situation, because I don't think a reasonable person would act like that. Alcohol influences a lot of things, or
well, take into account there was a party. There was supposed to be a party over in Atlanta. There was a little party get together in a person's backyard.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
3 guys and 3 dudes.
Oh, boy.
3 guys showed up. They was tipsy. They talking and they so people told them calm down. We don't want no drama, but you don't need it. And after a while, they just told me, you need to go.
You have to leave, yeah.
So what they do, they left, came back with guns, started shooting up the party. You have instances of that, and we as black men, we have to come together and start understanding that.
Yeah.
A lot of our issues are rooted.
I actually like this topic. That's all right, Larry.
A lot. See, I thought I'd come
up with it. This is something that needs to be discussed. It really does. The more I think about it,
So one of the problems with that is our ego is deep rooted in ourselves because we always feel like we have to be hard. We have to be hard.
Right.
But the only problem with that is, and this is the big clicker, and this is where we start swimming in the deep end. we're only hard with each other.
Yeah, yeah.
We will sit back and say a white person did something to us because we've seen more than one occasion where they're filming a black man and he's supposed to be hard and I'm gonna let God deal with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where was God when you was dealing with those brothers when you were shooting at the other day?
Well, I just think that people need to calm down and take a step back because the reality is, and in situations going back to the line of situations, I mean, obviously we don't know what happened.
Right.
You know, we just making general comments about different things. But, you know, people need to start calling the police. You know,
but you got to be worried about that.
I really think that solves a lot of things because, you know, maybe they wouldn't have came back if they saw a squad car in the front.
But this is the thing. But this is once again
taking a report.
And I'm glad you took it this way
because I mean, you can try to handle things on your own, but when people get outrageous and disorderly and disrupting things, just 911. We have a disorderly person. We would like a squad car. You know.
But the problem is, and this is the issue. You see what happened to Atlantia Jones? Mm-hmm. She was sitting at home.
Yeah.
While playing a video game with her nephew.
Yeah, and the guy.
The police officer showed up and killed her.
Yeah.
Now, the person who called the police.
He just wanted the welfare check. He wanted
the welfare check.
Yeah.
Because he saw her door open.
Yeah.
Now, instead of the police doing their job.
They should have went to the front door.
Knock on the door.
Yeah, they should have went to the front door and knocked on it.
They could have knocked on the door. They could have sat back and
said... Because
they
were treating the call like a burglary.
Like it was a burglary. No, not only like it was a burglary. They was treating the call like, oh, well, we're going to catch somebody doing something.
Yeah, it was simply a welfare check.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's just bad policing.
But this presents the problem to what you were saying.
Why call them in the first?
So you call the police, and you sit there, you make that phone call.
Well, you expect to be calling a professional. I mean, you know, Jesus Christ.
But let's look at all the situations in hand right about now.
Right.
You call the police thinking that you're going to get somebody. Mm-hmm. That police officer can come in and escalate the situation with the people who were sitting there being civil and being fair.
But they're not supposed to do that.
But you also got to remember too, there was a bouncer in a club. He had a license to carry.
Right.
He took this fight outside. He called the police.
Right.
He was holding the guy down who was supposed to have it. The police saw a gun and killed him.
Yeah.
Shot him dead.
Yeah, that's a dangerous
situation.
Even
when the people were telling, no, that's not the guy. That's the guy.
Yeah.
So even
when you do have to be careful.
So when you're looking at it in terms of ego, you still, if you say, oh, well, we just had to call the police, that's not a safe route for everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially people of our color. That's
true.
Not a safe route for us. You would think it would be, but calling the police could be a death warrant for somebody else who's innocent of that situation.
Don't even have nothing to do with it.
And they could go, and the police will come in, and they will come in guns blazing.
Well, you know what? That's sad. That's really sad to have that predicament with policing. You know, you expect to call the police, and a professional would come and do the right thing and calm the situation, not come and escalate, and not come and respond to the call the wrong way. You know, a welfare check, and you acting like it's a burglary, going around the house with a flashlight. I mean, you know.
And what that is
it's just sad. It really is. I don't know any other description to call it. It's just horrible.
So you're looking at it more in the terms of, and this is where ego, once again, this is where we have to check our egos at the door.
Absolutely.
We have to be more proactive.
Absolutely.
As men to check our egos at the door.
Absolutely.
We have to be more than willing to succumb to a less conflictive manner when we deal with each other.
I think
so. Instead of us always coming in, we're fighting, or instead of us coming up to each other ready to, oh man, who you did? Hey brother, let me talk to you for a second.
You know who made that statement?
Who did?
Quincy Jones. Check your egos at the door. When they did the video with all the singers that came together.
Oh, we are the world.
We are the world. He put a sign right at check your egos at the door because, you know, we're all here trying to but I get your point, and that's exactly what we need to do.
And that's the thing. is, so if we're able to make ourselves more open to understanding and being able to process, because sometimes it could be the ego on the person who's receiving
that's true.
The bad ego.
That's very true.
the bad feelings, because that person, we don't know what that person's day is like. So long as you sit back and be like, yeah, brother, whatever, I'm gonna let you have that.
There you go. I would do. That's something that I would do, and I think a lot of people need to
I
do.
will be 110% honest. I'm not that guy just
Well,
yet.
you need to start doing that.
Look, I'm like I tell everybody, I'm like Charlamagne the God. When they say when they say when they
Go
go
low.
low, we go high. I'm like this. When they go low, let's take it to the floor. But I'm
Oh,
working on me.
Lord.
I am a working.
Well, keep working on you.
You
Now
know
let's
what?
move
Go
on
ahead.
to a more current topic. Let me select one here. I want to talk about the recent bombing of the Iranian general Soleimani.
Yeah.
And before I offer my opinion about that, I want to get your opinion about that situation. Everybody knows what happened to the Iranian general, that the United States bombed his motorcade going to the airport, and they used a drone, and he is now deceased. So, what do you think about that?
Okay, so what originally happened is, you got to remember that from what they said that the Iranians
Who is they?
The current administration,
Okay.
different news outlets.
Okay.
They're saying that the Iranians were stirring up chaos in Iraq, and it's due to the fact that a lot of the current Iraqi people are saying, we don't want a heavy amount of American presence in our country.
Mm-hmm.
We want y'all to scale back and keep it to logistics and keep it to just the bare minimum.
Right.
So,
so what's your opinion about it? Do you think we did the right thing?
I'm about to give it. The problem was, what happened is you're looking at that Soleimani. They attacked. Soleimani was one of the main people who was putting that plan in place. Mm-hmm. They ended up storming that American embassy, destroying the American embassy, and then they
burning the lobby, and
there was a lot of things that happened with that. Now, was they right to kill him? Yes, because this is not the first time he's been plotting on Americans and American targets. Mm-hmm. Now, in the manner that they did it, they did not consult with the Congress. Mm-hmm. They did not make sure that all the intelligence and everything was right. Mm-hmm. They didn't think that, and they didn't try to take.
They didn't have an end game.
They didn't try to take a more diplomatic approach. Okay. So with all these other missing pieces, all these other missing steps, it's exactly what he was trying to say about Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's going to disregard this and all the other branches, and he's going to go for it. Mm-hmm. And that's what Trump did. Mm-hmm. Now, killing him created a problem.
For who?
For Americans. Mm-hmm. Because now you have all these Iranians, because he was loved in his country. Yeah. And it created a problem because all these people loved him. My brief estimation is that, simply put, yeah, but we should have found a more diplomatic way of dealing with the situation, rather than just doing it and then you jump on TV and you talk tough and talk trash.
Well, here's my take on it. Although I very seldom agree with anything this administration does, the Trump administration, I totally agree with what he did with this general. I think it was smart, and I think it was long overdue. For the simple fact, we don't have to go into the history of all the things this general has done and all American soldiers he's been involved in with killing and plotting and planning. He had his hand in a lot of dirty things. But what I think this does is sends a message to the rest of the world is, we're not going to tolerate this tomfoolery. We're not going to tolerate you killing Americans, soldiers, and we're not going to tolerate you plotting and planning against our interests.
But you got a president who's playing tough guy. That's the problem.
Well, let me finish.
Okay.
And as far as him consulting the Congress, he should have, maybe not the entire Congress, but probably the leaders of each party, and maybe a few senior Democrats and a few senior Republicans, and that would have been okay. Maybe 5 from each, but hey, he has that right.
I agree with what you said, but I disagree with the sentiment. By trying to push out, you got to remember, by trying to push out this idea that we're not going to be bothered, we're not going to be pushed around,
And we're
not going to
not.
be. But the thing about it is, everybody in the world already knows that. That's why we
Well,
have bases all over the world.
well,
The problem with that sentiment is that's where you have your people who get desperate.
mhm.
Now, speaking as ex-military, what is the worst thing that you want to deal with?
Yeah.
A desperate and scared person. Because if they feel like they have no other resolve, guess what they're going to do?
Well,
That's
I think,
to me, it's like we got a caged tiger sitting in a corner. That tiger might be only 150 pounds,
mm-hmm.
but that's still a damn tiger.
That's true.
And
that's
when
true.
that tiger comes out after you took away everything else that tiger
So we
could
both
do,
agree with what he did.
Yes.
You just don't agree with the way he did it.
I don't agree with the way he did it.
All right.
And then from that standpoint, let me also say this. This is the problem. You got to remember, how many people did it take to cause those towers to come down? To cause all these problems in New York?
Right. Mm-hmm.
How many people did it take in the Boston Marathon
Mm-hmm.
to drive them crazy?
Okay, let's keep it moving. So I want to say this. I think Trump did an excellent job with this situation.
I think Trump did a horrible job.
And I think that I have to agree with him on this. And I like the way he showed restraint when the Iranians when the Iranians bombed our bases in Iraq. I mean, no life was lost, so leave it alone. Leave it alone.
So then what we're going to do
now, it would have been a lot different
mm-hmm.
if American soldiers had been killed with those 12 missiles that came in. Things would have been a lot different. Trust me. So, by the grace of God or whatever, no soldiers were killed.
So let's
move on.
Let's pivot on that same topic.
Okay.
Let's pivot on that same topic. Let's not drop it off. Let's pivot.
Okay.
You got to also remember, though, my problem with that, no, there was no soldiers lost.
Right.
Because Iran didn't get what they was trying. They was trying to just show a grand gesture for
their
people.
I think they were too.
Because
they called Iraq and told them that we were going to do this.
Okay.
Move your people, you know.
Now, the problem with that, this is my problem with that. If they turn around and say they consistently keep doing grand gestures.
It's going to be a problem.
See,
it's going to be
so how is that a problem? How is that a problem for a country that's been put on the sanctions for doing nothing wrong? Mm-hmm. Because if you remember, under Barack Obama, when they had the Iran, when they had the nuclear deal.
Oh yeah.
That nuclear deal that Germany, France, Britain,
I agree.
All these countries signed, and they was all on board,
and they still on board.
It gets deeper.
Yeah.
Now they was all cool with that,
and Trump tore the deal up. He ripped it up.
Wait, even before that, they were saying that Iran has been following policy line by line, item by line.
They let the inspectors in,
and they did not, and they was not getting sanctioned. Trump comes in, like you said, ripped that deal to shreds.
He did.
He turned around and said, "This ain't good enough."
But guess what?
I don't believe in it. But wait. Now we have a country that said straight up live on every news channel, we're going to start re-enriching our nuclear. We're going to build up our nuclear. So you got to look at now. This is the thing. The short term of it with what he did
with the general.
Mm-hmm. The short term of it
was good.
Oh, it was great. But the long game, you just pissed off a country that hates us. That's saying not only are we going to create missiles, we're going to start it back up. But not only are we going to start it back up, we got a whole country of our people who are backing us now, saying that no more negotiations with the United States.
Yeah.
Let's make our missiles and let's make them scared like they make us scared. Because at the end of the day, that is what it's about.
Well, here's the thing. When Trump was campaigning, he said if he's elected, he's going to tear up the Iran nuclear deal because it's a terrible deal. Trump said, I've been making deals my whole life, and this is a horrible deal. I wrote a book, The Art of the Deal. Okay, he campaigned on that. The American people put him in office.
The American people did not put him in office. The Electoral College put him in office.
Well, that's the Electoral College is part of the process. So you have to win. You got to get 270 to win the presidency. He got it. So he's the president. Right. Now, they voted for his butt. So they, you knew all his campaign promises. And he doing them one by one. Tore up the Iran deal.
Got out of G6. But see, this is my issue.
So here it is what it is.
But this is my issue with the whole situation in terms of that. He came in talking about he's going to do this and it's a better deal.
Right.
How many of his businesses lasted?
Yeah, that's true.
How many bankruptcies has he had? How many?
I'm not defending him.
No. I know you're not, but I'm saying
listen to
this is the.
And you are absolutely correct.
This is the chin check. How many businesses has he had fail? Since he's such a businessman and wrote the art of the deal.
That's true.
How many times did he?
I don't mean to laugh. How many times
had he
saying is true?
How many times did he have Michael Cohen go to court for him so that he had only to settle deals where he didn't want to pay? And how many companies and banks said, no, we're not going to lend to you. We're not going to work for you because we know what type of person you are.
Trust me.
So this is the thing. So we have this person who comes out with the trappings of being a very, very rich man. He has the thing, I'm a billionaire.
He's got but then, 10 billion when Forbes consistently say he got 3.7.
But this is the
and he hasn't shown his taxes for 20 years.
This is the ins and outs of it. You also have a person where he had to go to the German bank.
Yeah.
To start doing it. This is the same person who had Puerto Rico, who was poorly managed and this and they don't know what they're doing. How did they get those bonds where they got so deep in debt?
Yeah.
Because they were supposed to be putting up a Trump resort where?
Yeah.
In Puerto Rico. And what did he do at the last minute? Pulled out.
Yeah.
So if somebody's sitting back and they're trying to tell me that this guy, his foreign policy, when he doesn't even know
I agree
what the trilateral effect of nuclearization.
Let me say this. All the things you're saying is correct. Mm-hmm. And if I disagree with you, I'd tell you.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, he is the president.
He is the president, and I can't knock
him for that. People are gonna have to realize that no matter how much you hate him, he is the president.
But you're asking.
I respect the office, not so much the man itself.
Now, my problem with that statement is, and this is my D.L. Hughley moment. My problem with that statement is that this is the same president who talked bad about Barack Obama every chance he got. And this is the same president who had the birther movement, who made Barack's life a living hell. This is the same president to this day. The other two people who was in the birther movement,
made his life a living hell.
Oh yes, he did. Well, in Michelle Obama's book, she said he made his life a living hell.
Okay.
So then you also got to look at too. This is the same person that sat back and was talking about, and this is where the pivot comes. He was just talking about if Barack Obama goes to war with Iran, he is ineffective and he's too weak and he can't negotiate. And if he's going to do this, he's going to try and do this to build up people so he can get reelected.
That's just posturing.
But I'm just saying, but regardless of what it is,
he did it.
I believe, like everybody said, keep that same energy.
Keep that same energy.
Keep that same energy. If you're talking about it is weak and you need to negotiate, where's your negotiations at? This guy is a coward.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know, and he's ineffective, and he's weak. And I'm not going to never run for office. So you ain't got to worry about seeing this face on anything other than what you're seeing it right now.
Right.
But he is weak and ineffective, and his weakness and ineffective came back to haunt him because he said those words.
Yeah.
I find it ridiculous that this person could sit back and even begin because he has no true concept of what he's doing.
Tell him how you really feel, Larry.
Oh, I'm telling him because he has no concept.
Tell him how you really feel.
Because he has no true concept of war. That's why.
Let me ask you one question.
Hold on 1 second. That's why Mad Dog Maddox. Wait a second. That's why Mad Dog Maddox told him. Mad Dog Maddox said, "I earned my spurs on the battlefield, not a doctor's note."
Oh yes.
Because so the same person who's
the radio host.
The same no. That's the general. He was a U.S. Forces general.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But that's why when he turns around and talks about how he loves the vets, and I'm gonna take this into the 24-foot deep pool right now, and then we're gonna go ahead and pivot off of it. The 24-foot pool deep is he loves the vets so much. Why did he take $3.4 billion away from the VA? If he loved the soldiers so much, why did he take $470 million away from the soldiers to help build his wall?
Yeah.
So you only love them when they're doing what you want them to do, or you can use them as a prop. Because Lord knows it breaks down that way.
One question. Okay, I need you to think about this. President Donald Trump sitting in front of you. You get to ask him one thing. not a comment, a question.
Mm-hmm.
What would you ask him? You get to ask one question. He's sitting right in front of you, close, just like me.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. President, go.
Let me see. My question would be, Mr. President, what is your true issue with black and brown people?
Ooh,
That you feel like it's okay.
Goodness.
That you
oh,
feel like it's okay to put children in cages.
Ooh, you hitting them
feel
deep,
like,
Larry.
You feel like it's okay to separate parents from families at the border.
Woo.
You feel like instead of building bridges,
that one.
Well, wait. Instead
you
of building
hard.
Oh, this is a unilateral question because it said because Barack Obama said one time it's time for us to build bridges instead of borders.
I agree.
The European Union took that philosophy and they made the European Union.
So you would ask him, what's your problem with black and brown people?
Because you have denigrated. He's always had denigrated black people. He's always had denigrated. He denigrated Maxine Waters.
Oh yeah.
He denigrated the black women. April Rye, who is the pundit for
April Ryan.
Yeah, April Ryan it was the pundit
for the DC reporters pool.
Yep.
Yeah.
He talks down to them.
Yeah.
He says.
What about Baltimore?
He said the whole state, the whole city of Baltimore.
Yeah.
He said the whole thing about California. He said everything that he could possibly say negative and in a very negative light to all these other people.
Yeah.
So I would like to know,
what's your problem?
What's your problem where you feel like it's okay to put children in cages?
Wow.
What's your problem where you feel like you got to talk down to black people? That you would take out a 4-page ad and talk about they're savages. They need to be executed. We need to bring execution back for teenage boys that was not involved. And
you're talking about the New York
exonerated 5.
Yeah.
And when it was proven that they were innocent,
you still didn't.
And you said nothing. And then when they brought it up to you, you still didn't want to apologize because you feel like those darkies are beneath you. So please explain that.
That's a good question.
What would yours be?
Ooh, I hadn't thought about it, but But now that you mention it, my one question to President Trump would be, I would ask him, did you really intend to win the presidency? Was that your original thought when you ran? Did you think you were going to lose and you were just going to make your brand more famous? Was this about money? Because to me, it just don't seem that you're interested in doing the right thing for all Americans. Now your base, I know you love them and you'll do the right thing for them. All of the southern states and the base that you have, but to be president, you have to be the president for everybody.
That's what John McCain kept Barack Obama at bay with. You're not the president of black people. You're the president of all people. You have to be the president of all
You have to be the president of all people. And that would be my question to him, because I try to look at things logically, and he's just not, he just don't seem to want to represent all Americans.
Because he don't care. This is the thing. I agree with you, because he literally, this is what you're dealing with.
So you think that's a good question?
I think that's an amazing question.
Yeah. Because
he doesn't have an answer for either one of our questions.
I don't think he does. So
we're going to move away onto something I want to talk about. But wait. I want to get into, because it says, so with that, sticking with the political theme, and then we're going to move back towards something else.
Okay.
I'm wondering, so with the Republican Party, with everything that they've allowed Trump to do, he raised up the debt to over $1 trillion again.
Oh, Lord.
He has given only the richest 1% of tax break.
Yeah.
He took out money. He's making it harder for poor families to deal on welfare, which I find incredibly interesting, seeing how the black people are reducing the amount of black people. The amount of black people who are on welfare is slowly coming down.
Yeah.
Because they are going out and they're working. Not only that, but he has done so everything that the Republican Party was supposed to be initially about, they turned their backs on. Mm-hmm. So when, say, there's a Democratic president that comes into play, they burn all those bridges. They're basically saying that we're going to ride with this president regardless. So how are they going to be able to justify? Well, we can't afford that.
Yeah.
Or we can't do that because, that's fundamentally wrong. How can we do, because you have a president who's done everything, who's lied, who has campaign donations to Stormy Daniels,
$30,000,
who had another Playboy Playmate he was cheating with, that he gave her hush money. He's sat back and consistently said racist things. He said racial things about black and brown people.
I mean, that was my original question to him, because he's not representing all the people. I don't think he should be.
But I'm saying, not him. I'm saying, what are the party? How you as a Republican? How would you, if you are a Republican, how would you deal with that? How can you sit back? How can you sit back and turn around? Well, of course you're going to be hypocritical, because we know Lindsey Graham is one of the biggest hypocrites on the planet, and Mitch McConnell makes being a hypocrite his afternoon meal.
What is it with Lindsey Graham? Please tell me.
Lindsey Graham is...
I mean, this guy is just... I mean, he's amazing. Everything that Trump does, he's right up in his face agreeing with it.
The reason why, because Trump has him in his pocket. I don't know what Trump got on Lindsey Graham or what Trump is doing for Lindsey Graham.
Wow.
But Trump has Lindsey Graham, because Lindsey Graham, if y'all remember, and this is where a lot of people don't remember, Lindsey Graham and Hillary Clinton, even though they were starch enemies on everything else, when Barack Obama was in office, Lindsey Graham and Hillary Clinton became really good friends.
But you know what? Lindsey Graham was a really good friend of John McCain.
Yes,
and they're so different.
Not only was
they're so different.
Not only was he a close friend of John McCain, he was one of John McCain's best friends.
I know, but how? But how can
when
that
the minute when John McCain passed away, who was the first person to sign on to Trump's stimulus package? Mr. Lindsey Graham. And he said, and all the horrible stuff he said about John McCain, and all the horrible stuff Trump said about John McCain, and Lindsey Graham sat there next to Trump, just boss, boss, boss.
He should have rejected his comments.
Exactly. Yeah. And he didn't say a word. Yeah. He didn't say a word when Lindsey Graham was at the funeral for John McCain.
This guy is just puzzling to me, and why the people of the great state of Alabama continually elect him is amazing to me.
Because Lindsey Graham has had a cush situation to where he has. It was a Republican. It's more of a Republican state.
I mean,
the state Republican. It's more of a Republican state.
Oh, it's definitely Republican.
So anytime when Democrats, you got to remember, there's two good reasons. Anytime a Democrat comes out, Lindsey Graham gets his boys and everybody to squash that. Yeah. And then on top of that, gerrymandering is what's kept Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell in there, because you got to remember. Lindsey Graham's approval rating is only at like 27%.
I'm not sure about that. But
I'm pretty sure.
In Alabama, it's probably way more than that.
No. No, it's not.
Really?
That's why they doing gerrymandering.
I know.
That's why they gerrymander. Then he can get as many people that he wants, who vote like him, who run like him, who like Trump, to go that way. And that's what happens.
Let's keep it moving. And let me just put a pause in here. I hope you're enjoying the topics that we're talking about. And please make sure you comment so we know how you feel, where we're going. Because you really dictate what we discuss, by your comments,
And subscribe.
Yes.
Hit that button right down there, that red one.
Tell them also we're on Instagram.
We're on Facebook.
And a podcast.
Yep, we're on Podomatic, and yes, we're having them coming out every Monday. Our podcast and this video will be out every Monday. So we are rolling with it. Get on, jump in on it.
Jump in, because it cannot succeed with just me and him talking.
Nope. Even though we'll run our mouths until y'all start listening.
We need you guys to comment. Say how you feel. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with him? Do you agree with both of us? Are we both crazy?
Might be both crazy, but
tell us how you feel, please. All right.
Also, this episode has been brought to you by our only
sponsor.
It is the Beauty Natural. Think of all the walking, standing, and running you do.
All right.
Now, wouldn't you feel better in some of the softest socks? The Beauty Natural has the most comfortable socks on the market. Take a look. Your feet will thank you.
Oh, this is, I'm looking at some of your topics. let's talk about this. I really want to discuss this.
So, yeah, that's a really interesting, because I'm going to pose this question to you.
Okay, go ahead.
So, with the situation, okay, so there was a Ukrainian plane that was flying over Iran. The Ukrainian plane crashed outside of Iran, of course, but it came out that it was shot down. It had
no, in Iran.
No, it landed outside of Iran. They shot it in Iran.
Oh, okay.
It was in Iran airspace.
All right, yeah.
But it crashed outside of Iran. So they went through it. Iran said, "No, we don't know nothing about it" at first, and then turned around, and it turned out to be an Iran missile that took it down.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? Share.
Well, I think it's horrible, and I think they knew that they did it originally. They should have just came out and said so. But because the United States or Canada has satellites, they actually saw the missile launching. Right. So we knew right away what happened. But it took them 3 days to come out and admit it. And that's horrible. That's just horrible. And I think they need to pay restitution to every family member that was on that plane. They need to compensate the family with currency for whatever country they're from. If you're from Canada, they need to compensate that family with Canadian currency. You know, every single person, including the pilot and stewardess crew. That's my opinion about it. It's horrible. I mean,
now I think, and this is my thinking, and this is where it gets controversial. I'm thinking that they need to do something in terms of the whole world needs to go ahead and hold Iran accountable. We do understand that in a lot of lights, Iran is getting mistreated unfairly across the board in a lot of ways. But in this situation, you are dead wrong. You need to do something to help those families. You need to go ahead and make and you need to go ahead and be fair about it, because if you're going to finally,
I
and they were not going to,
I'm going to tell you why I disagree with you.
What?
I mean, I truly think that they need to do something at this point.
Yes,
simply because they lied. But here's where I disagree with your statement that they were dead wrong. They were defending their territory in a hostile situation.
Exactly.
And that plane was just a casualty of war.
But
casualties of war, collateral damage. Let me finish.
It was not considered war yet.
It was a conflict. You killed the general. We are retaliating, and in the process of retaliating, they said they mistook the plane as a hostile situation, and they probably used a SAM Russian missile and blew it out of the sky. But they said it was unintentional, and I believe it was unintentional.
I believe it was unintentional.
It was just they probably hit the button real too quick before they identified what it was. Now, should they pay? Yes, but were they dead wrong? No.
Okay,
it was a part of war. It's a part of war.
This is one of the things where we're going to have to agree to disagree, because for the simple fact that it's two important reasons.
Okay.
First reason, number one. Before you shoot anything, you can check the Russian forces. Let's take Russia.
You need to identify it.
When Russia was taking over parts of the what was that place there? Crimea.
Yeah.
And they were shooting down, and they were shooting. When it came out that they were like, "Well, you shot down an ocean liner." Russia said, "Yeah." Well, you wrong for that. No, we weren't. We meant to do it. You have so many layers of things that you got to go through before you are allowed to shoot off a missile.
Yeah. You should.
You should. Now, one of the things is, because it's not like, hey, and I mean no disrespect to those families. It is a tragedy what happened to them. But do you realize how much it costs to shoot one missile?
Yeah.
How many thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of dollars to shoot
the
one
fact
missile?
of the matter is, Iran needs to compensate
Iran needs to compensate them.
And they need to come out and apologize if they already haven't. I'm not really sure if they made an public apology.
We have a president in office right now that sits back and denigrates all our countries. They turned a lot of our allies
and ain't apologized
and
ever.
ain't apologized
Well,
to nothing.
He's
so
a
you
whole
look at,
different animal.
You got to remember. So these countries are taking their cues from who?
Yeah.
From who?
Yep.
They're taking their cues from who? You
Mr.
also
Trump.
You got so you got to remember. So yes,
Yeah.
he did it. They did a horrible thing, and I believe that it was horrible, and I believe that war is different. If it is a war going on, then yes, it is a completely different whole situation. So in the midst of a war, there are going to be situations where there will be collateral damages.
Yeah.
That's why they made the Geneva Convention.
Yeah.
And what is the Geneva Convention? For those who don't know, it's called the Articles of War. It is how you can perform a war. Weird enough.
Basically the rules of war.
Yes, the rules of war, but basically how to perform it. That's what they tell you. You can do this, you can do this. You can't use chemicals. You can't shoot up churches.
You shouldn't
can't shoot up
inhumane
ambulances.
things. Yeah.
But see, but the ideal of it, the reason why the Geneva Convention was important, because what is inhumane to you may not be inhumane to me.
That's true.
So they had to write them down. What is the rules?
That's right.
How we're going to perform this?
And you need to. Everybody don't follow the convention.
No, because a lot of the countries at the time was not around. Right. Some countries weren't around. Some countries just said we're not signing this. And one of the people who didn't want to sign it was the Warsaw Poland.
So you got a more current topic here. Well, it's very current, and it's basically involving Meghan Markle and what's his name, Harry?
Yes, Prince Harry.
Prince Harry, the Duchess of Sussex. They're trying to break away from this British monarchy and the Queen and so forth, and they want to go on their own and be more private.
Right.
And I totally agree with them because I think they are very marketable. I think they can make a lot of money. I think they need to go on their own and just break away. They're not being treated fairly. They're not being treated fairly because she is part black, African American.
Yes, she is.
And the British tabloids are going in on her hard.
Yes, they are.
And it's unnecessary, it's racist, it's biased, it's
it
horrible.
Yes,
and I don't blame him and I don't blame her for wanting to break away from all that foolishness.
I completely disagree.
Go right ahead.
Once again, we batting over to that.
Go right ahead.
I disagree because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning that Martin Luther King, Malcolm X said, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall.
And how did that apply to this?
How that applies to this is that you have people sitting there disrespecting his wife, on a daily basis.
Yes, we both
agree on that. They have somebody sitting there, then it's racist. It's racist, and it's coming from England. It's horrific to even think about. But the problem is that if your family is the royal family and they're not willing to step up and say no. You can't come to the royal palace and try and take pictures. No, we're not doing interviews with you guys.
They're not doing that.
They're not, and that's why I say that they need to stand and fight. And they need to stand there and get their family involved. Get the family. If y'all have a problem with my wife, say so right now. If y'all don't, then why aren't y'all speaking up for her?
Yeah.
Why are y'all not standing with us? Because if they run,
you know why?
But this is the problem.
You know why?
Yeah, of course. But
you see what color that is?
But if they
that's why.
But if they run,
are they doing that with the other gentleman's his brother's wife? No, they don't treat them that way.
No, but if you run, then you're going to have to always have that problem hanging because all those papers.
I mean,
all those
it is what it is.
But all those
racism
are going to
is across the water too.
But if you fight, like I said, there was a whole bunch of one of the things I love about the when Martin Luther King was talking about doing his march.
Mm-hmm.
There was these. I think there was 2 rabbis and 3 priests.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Luther King told it a couple of days before it was time for him to do, and he told them. He said, "You might not want to be a part of this because it's going to get ugly, and there's going to be a lot of people getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot of things that's going to happen, and not only are you going to have to witness them, you're going to have to. You might get hurt also."
Mm-hmm.
Those rabbis and those priests hugged Martin Luther King and said, "Brother, we can't fall with you. What are we doing here, walking with you?"
I agree. I understand your concept. I totally understand your concept.
if your family, if your royal family is sitting there, putting that situation out, making them feel comfortable, making these type of horrible racist statements without putting some type of repercussions.
Yeah. Well, I
Then
think I blame the family as well.
So in that motion, you should stay.
Prince Charles
but you
needs
know
to
what?
step up
But
as his
not only that,
as his
but you
dad.
should stay. But you should stay and be looking and go to those newspapers. Have a
Well,
seat.
they've
walk
sued.
in.
They've sued one of them twice.
But see, but we'll walk in and sit down with them.
Yeah.
Let me see the writer who wrote this. Let's talk about this.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying.
If you let Harry and Meghan come over there to the Daily Beast or the Daily Mail.
That's the one they sued.
Yeah, come in and have a seat. Let's talk. Let's. I need the editor to sit right there because I want that editor to explain to me
why you badgering me.
No, not even the editor. No, how's this news for you?
Well, they selling papers. They selling.
But
papers.
I'm saying is, how's this news saying racist stuff about my wife? No, look me in the eye and tell me.
Because it sells papers,
but I'm saying,
Mr. Larry. Why.
But if you look me in the eye and that's your answer, cool. Then the lawsuits are going to continue to fund, and then we're going to ask for more money each lawsuit.
Yeah,
and each lawsuit, as you think we're going to run out of, you'll run out of money before we will.
Right.
And since we know,
so your solution would be to stay and fight.
To stay and fight.
Okay. All right.
To stay and fight because.
But I don't think it's all about that. I think it's about money too, and I think they are very marketable. They can make a lot of currency.
Do you know how much money they make just being part of a royal family?
Well, they get their money from
taxes of the government.
Well, no, he gets an allowance from Prince Charles. I did my research on that. Yeah, he gets an allowance from Prince Charles.
Where does Prince Charles' money come from? His mom, the Queen, whose money come from what? She owns England.
Yeah, well, she don't own it, but
she basically she does because
they get a stipend from the government.
They get a. You see the stipend they get?
Yeah. I understand. I mean,
as those things start to break down, like I said,
the Queen stepped forward. She said everybody needs to step back, take a breath, and we need to discuss this.
And what's funny, what's worst about this situation, those same papers that was attacking her for being there are now attacking her for leaving.
Well, she can't win.
You wonder where the American racist operation comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And you're seeing it live right now.
Yeah.
You want to see where America's horrific ideal of racism come from? Let's take a look across. Because, most of the black people in England, they were the main ones saying. So now that y'all, the way y'all did her, everybody, the whole world is seeing how truly horrible and racist you are.
Yeah.
Are y'all really ready for it? And these newspapers was like, till other black people stood up and said, wow, we thought you guys were the good ones.
Yeah.
Nope, you're not.
I think, my personal opinion about it, I think it's a very sad situation. I think it shows that because of the color of her skin, they're treating her this way.
It is no different.
And she's very well educated. She's beautiful. Mm-hmm. She's kind-hearted. Yep. All those things. Yep. And I think they make a lovely couple. And their wedding was just beautiful. I couldn't turn away. I watched every minute of it. I even watched the commercial. Every minute of it, I loved it. And I was so happy for both of them, and for them to be treated this way is a bunch of I've never cussed on it, just a bunch of shit. That's what it is.
What really is crazy for me is the fact that you have a country, because I've been to England.
Yes,
I've been to England twice. I went to England and I was like, oh, I love it. Yeah. I love it here. This place is amazing. Yeah. But then to see how truly, because a lot of Africans and a lot of people, a lot of black people who live in England have always said that the racism is there.
Yeah, it's there, but it's not as relevant in this country.
It's not as crazy as it is here in the U.S.
That's right.
It is, and that's why what I love is the fact that there are tons of black activists over in England who are fighting for Meghan. There's a lot of tons of them who are going to these places, but see, they're
Daily Beast, huh? My God, what a piece of crap!
And it's funny because, I had a discussion about that online with a gentleman who tried to tell me, well, if she don't like it, she could just leave. Okay, she's leaving.
Yeah. She's in Canada right now, right?
She is.
Yeah.
And then it was funny because then he's like, well, in America, we want everybody out. If you're not American, you need to get out. and these immigrants and this immigrants that. And I said, I find it odd because your people made it to Ellis Island and had a chance to sign their names in a book that all of a sudden American, but you have problems with every other person coming in this country.
America is made up of immigrants from all over the globe.
Exactly.
From all over the globe.
Please yell it one more time because it is horrific when all these people who sit back and make these blanket statements that we need to keep these immigrants out.
A commercial with every race. Oh, and say, I am an American.
Well, what's funny?
I am an American.
Well, what's funny?
And just go right down the line and play it 20 times a day on all 3 networks.
But what's funny?
That's what they need to do.
But what's funny is you get these people, well, why don't you go back to Africa? Sure, why don't you give me a ride back to where you came from?
Yeah, thank you.
Because your forefathers ended up on Ellis Island too.
Yeah.
So before you start worrying about where I'm from, why don't you give me a ride back on your boat to wherever you're going? Because the last time I checked, you're not native.
So we've covered a lot of 7 topics today. I hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to sign off, and we're going to look for your comments anxiously. Subscribe. Go ahead, do your thing.
Subscribe. Please. It's that red button. It's right down there. It's right down there.
Yes. And I'm more of a person that likes to read the comments because I can get the pulse of what you're thinking, what the understanding of what we said and so forth. So please comment, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Peace.